Let's begin. Shana Tovah, Umituka, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us both online and in person. I'm Cantor Leslie, and I'm here with some wonderful people this morning. Our Ruach Choir, our quartet, our conductor and accompanist, our Rabbi Alan Green, and by the end of the service, Rabbi Anival will return and join us as well. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Yes, thank you for coming. We're about to hear the summons of this holiday season, the sound of the shofar. But I wanted to give a couple words of introduction. The first part comes from my teacher, Rabbi Zalman Schachter. It's a childhood recollection. And he says, this is childish, but there was something very special about that when people are praying, this thing, to be able to talk to God, is important. He says, once I looked under the tallis when Papa had just finished leading a Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur service, and I saw tears in his eyes and said, Papa, why are you crying? And he says, I just talked with God. And I asked him, does it hurt when you talk with God? And he says, no. So why did you cry? Because I remembered it's been such a long time since I last really talked with him. So these are deep impressions that are wonderful. Are we doing a mourner's Kaddish? So just before we proceed, Leslie has reminded me that we're going to do a mourner's Kaddish.
On the 2nd of Tishrei, we observe the Yurtzites of Benjamin Dubnikov, Blima Elisage, the child we honor and remember through one more candle, Chaim Leib ben Mendel, Peretz ben Moshe, Elka bat Moshe Vedora, Devora bat Meyer, Dorothy Gutkin, Elsie Gilfix, Fred Kravetsky, Ephraim ben Betzalel Leib, Chana bat Zalman Lifshitz, Joseph Rosenberg, Riva Rosenberg, Wirt Siegel, Baruch ben Yaakov Yisrael v'Chana, Nelly Scheif, Nechama bat Lazar v'Esther, Rose Smith, Rachel bat Tzvi Hirsch, Etta Stein, Yitka bat Yosef, and Joseph Wolk, Yosef ben Chaim. We turn to page 78 for the Mourner's Kaddish. Mourners and those observing Yurtzeit, let's join together. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'alma divrach hirutei ve'amlich malchutei. Ve'chayefon uvyomechon ve'chaye dekol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'bizman kariv imru amen. Yehi shemei rabba mevarach le'olam la'amei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudesha brichu. Le'ela le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata. Tushvechata v'nechemata. Damiran ve'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlam arab amin shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Yes, please be seated. So in light of what I just read from my teacher, Rabbi Zalman Schachter, I wanted to share with you some short reflections on the nature of prayer in relation to the shofar. And here they are. As a person begins to pray, reciting the words, "O Lord, open my lips and let my mouth declare your praise," the presence of God actually enters one's being. Then it's the presence herself who commands his voice. It's she who speaks the words through him. One who knows in faith that all this happens within them will be overcome with trembling and with awe. There are times when the love of God burns so powerfully within your heart, the words of prayer seem to rush forth quickly and without deliberation. At such times, it's not you yourself who speak. Rather, it's through you that the words are spoken. And finally, when you speak, think that the world of speech is at work within you, because without that presence, you wouldn't be able to speak at all. Similarly, you wouldn't be able to think at all were it not for the world of thought within you. And this is because a person is like a ram's horn. The only sound you make is that which is blown through you. Were there no one blowing into the horn of your being, there would be no sound at all. So please rise now. Turn to page 85 for the blowing of the shofar.
Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lishmoa kol shofar.
Amen.
Aruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shechekiyanu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh.
Amen. Tkiyam Shvarim Truam Tkiyam Tkiyam Shvarim Truam Tkiyam Tkiyam Shvarim Truam Tkiyam Tkiyam Shvarim, Tkiyam, Tkiyam, Shvarim, Tkiyam, Tkiyam, Shvarim, Tkiyam, Tkiyam, Teruam, Tkiyam, Tkiyam, Teruam, Tkiyam, Tkiyam, Teruam, Tkiya Gedolah, Koach,
Asher Kochachem.
a new land speed record.
Koach.
We're invited to remain standing for the Torah service. The Ark is opened on page 87.
I'd like to invite our Ruach choir back to the Bima to help guide us through our Torah service. And just Yasher Koach to Eric Vicker, Jerome Foreman, and Bill Wiseman, our shofar sounders this morning. Beautifully done. Thank you so much. We're on page 87.
Please.
And I'd like to invite Fanny and Gustavo, who already know where to be our Ark openers this morning. Thank you so much. All right. Vayehi bintu Aharon vayomer Moshe Huma Adonai ve'afutu oivecha ve'yanusu mesanecha mipanecha Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah We're going to continue with Adonai, Adonai, and I know we're excited to take the Torah scroll out to the people, but Neil, can you come back, please? It has been years since we brought the scroll out to the people, and so we're all excited, but today it's not Shabbos, and so we have a few extra prayers. We're going to continue with Adonai, Adonai.
We'll do it again.
These beautiful, beautiful qualities of Hashem. Let's join together with our Ruach choir and our quartet.
Erev
Adonai is a God both merciful and gracious, patient and great in kindness and truth, ensuring mercy for thousands of generations, tolerating sin, transgression, and wrong, and cleansing people of their guilt. May my prayer to you arrive at a welcome time, sovereign in kindness plentiful, answer me with salvation sure. Vani tefilati lecha Adonai et ratzon Elohim merov chasecha Page 88. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh v'nora Shemo. Gadol Adonai iti, u'leromema shemo yachdav. Shana Tovah.
Shama in, right?
Yep. Thank you.
For a message.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yep. Shana Tovah. Shana Tovah. Thank you so much. And Jaime, Shana Tovah. Thank you guys so much. Oh, you guys are beautiful. Shana Tovah. Thank you. Thank you. Yasher Kochachem. You know what? I'm going to have a sip of water while I can. I need to cook some.
Do you think maybe we should be dancing in the aisles sometime? I almost started. I want to. So,
I have been handed an announcement on my way to the Bima.
please.
Yesterday, someone accidentally took a red tallis bag from Section B, Row 3, Seats 1 and 2. If you could please return it today, it belongs to Dr. Lyons. These things do happen at shul by accident sometimes, right? Because our talisim sometimes look alike. So if you happen to have it and you notice, that's okay. There was one yontif I was wearing a mysterious tallis to try to return it to its owner, and its owner found it. So that was kind of cool. We're going to begin in just a moment with our Torah service. And Rabbi Green has an introduction for us all.
Thank you, Leslie. So, take your son, God says to Abraham. Take your son, your only son, the one you love, Isaac, and go to the land of Moriah. Offer him there as a burnt offering on a mountain I will show you. And thus begins one of the most famous episodes in the Torah, and also one of the most problematic. The usual reading of this passage is that Abraham is being asked to show that his love for God is absolutely supreme. He's to show this by being willing to sacrifice the son for whom he spent a lifetime waiting. But why do you think God needed to test Abraham, given that God, at least according to the theory, knows the human heart better than we know it ourselves? Maimonides answers, God didn't need Abraham to prove his love to him. Rather, the test was meant to establish for all time how far one's love of God should really go. However, that was a nice punctuation mark. However, I'd like to present a different point of view. To understand the binding of Isaac, we have to realize that much of the Torah is an argument against worldviews that are inhuman and wrong. Before the emergence of the first civilizations, the basic social unit was the family. The authority of the head of the family, the father, was absolute. He had the power of life and death over his wife and children. Upon the death of the father, authority passed to the firstborn son. Meanwhile, as long as the father lived, children were property rather than persons in their own right. This idea persisted for thousands of years. But the Torah is opposed to every element of this worldview. The principle to which the entire story of Isaac is opposed is the idea that a child is the property of the father. First, Isaac's birth is miraculous. Sarah is already postmenopausal when she conceives. In this respect, the story of Isaac is parallel to the story of Hannah that we read yesterday, who, like Sarah, is unable to conceive. And this is why, when Hannah's son, Samuel, is born, she says, I prayed for this child, and the Lord has granted what I asked of him. So now, for his whole life, he will be given over to the Lord. This passage is the key to understanding the command from heaven telling Abraham to stop, where it says, Now I know that you fear God, because you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me. In other words, the test wasn't whether Abraham would sacrifice his son, but whether he would give him over to the service of God. As long as parents believed they owned their children, the idea of the individual couldn't be born. The fundamental unit was the family. But the Torah presents the birth of the individual as the central figure in moral life. Because children, all children, actually belong to God. Parenthood is not ownership, but rather guardianship. As soon as they reach the age of maturity, children become independent moral agents with their own dignity and freedom. So we see the Torah is revolutionary not only for society, but also for the family. The birth of the individual, the integrity of each one of us as a moral agent in our own right, was one of the great revolutions in history. And this is one big reason we read this portion of the Torah today. So you can find the Torah reading for the second day of Rosh Hashanah on page 94.
Our first honorees this morning are Alan and Gloria Cantor, and I have the honor of reading the first reading this morning. ויעזור וגם יושיע לכל החוסים בו ונאמר אמן. הכל אבו גודלנו וכבוד לתורה. יעמדו אליקים פסח בן יוסף משה ואסתר פסי. וגיטל שם לו בת יעקב וליבה. ברוך שתן תורה לעמו ישראל בקדושתו. ואתם הדבקים באדוני אלוהיכם. חיים כולכם היום. I'm going to find the first word for you before we begin, and it's right over here. Baruch Adonai Barach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Barach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher nasa lanu Torah sames, v'chayei olam v'tasa b'tzachenu, Baruch Atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayehi achar dvarim haele והאלוהים נישא את אברהם ויאמר אליו אברהם ויאמר הנני ויאמר קח נא את בנך את יחידך אשר אהבת את יצחק ולך לך אל ארץ המוריה, ועלהו שם לעולה, על אחד ההרים, אשר אמר אליך. וישכם אברהם בבוקר, ויחבוש את חמורו, ויקח את שני נעריו איתו, ואת יצחק בנו, ויבקע עולה, ויקם וילך אל המקום אשר אמר לו האלוהים. ביום השלישי, ויישא אברהם את עיניו, וירא את המקום מרחוק. ויאמר אברהם אל נעריו, שבו לכם פה עם החמור, ואני והנער נלכה עד כה, ונשתחווה ונשובה עליכם. ויקח אברהם את עצי העולה, וישם על יצחק בנו, ויקח בידו את האש ואת המאכלת, וילכו שניהם יחדיו. ויאמר יצחק אל אברהם אביו, ויאמר אבי, ויאמר הנני בני, ויאמר הנה האש והעצים, ויעשה לעולה. ויאמר אברהם אלוהים יראה לו עשה, לעולה וני, וילכו שניהם יחדיו.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, ve'yehei olam natan nefashenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher kochech. Yasher koach.
Thank you.
Shana Tovah u'mituka. And thank you for being a constant presence on Shabbat and part of our community. We're really grateful for you. Our next honoree this morning is Lloyd Sector. And Lloyd, it's my honor to call you up. Yamod Eliezer ben Yaakov u'Malka l'Aliyah hashniya. I'll find the first word for you.
Thank you. Baruch et Adonai Havara.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Vaed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Hayavohu el hamakom asher amar lo Elohim. Vayiven sham Avraham et hamizbeach, vayaroch et ha'etzim, vayakod et Yitzchak beno, vayasem oto al hamizbeach mimal ha'etzim. Vayishlach Avraham et yado, vayikach et ha'machelet lishchot et beno. Vayikra elav malach Adonai min hashamayim, vayomer Avraham, Avraham, vayomer hineni, vayomer el tishlach erecha el hanar, val taslo meumad. Ki ata yadati, ki are Elohim ata, velo chasachta, et bincha et yechidcha mimeni. Vayisa Avraham et einav, vayar vinei ayil achar, Nechaz basavach bekarnav, vayelech Avraham, vayikach et ha'ayil, vayaleu leolat tachat beno. Vayikra Avraham, shema makom mahu Adonai yiraheh, asher yamer hayom. Behar Adonai Yiraheh.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher koach.
Thank you.
And thank you for all your service to our community through so many years.
My pleasure.
I'd like to invite Gustavo Zentner as our third Torah reader this morning. And once again, reading Torah is an important part of my spiritual practice. And if there's a part of you that would like to learn, let me know, because I love to teach. To be strong in our practice as a congregation, we need many people who can read Torah. Our honoree is Gail Asper. And Gail, it's my honor to call you up. Tamon Gila Bat Yisrael Hersh Verachel Miriam Lalia Hashlishi. Gustavo, we're going to find your first word here. And Gail will take her talit. And here's the yad for you. Thank you.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Hamim Ve'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vaikra Malach Adonai el Abraham Shenit min Ashamayim Bayomer Vinishvatim Neum Adonai Ki Yan Asher Asita et Adavar Azeh Velo Chasachta et Vincha et Yechidecha Ki Barech Avarechecha Ve'arva Arve et Zaracha Chechochvei Ashamayim Vechachol Asher al Sfat Ayam Ve'ira Zaracha et Shahar Oivav Ve'idvarchu Bezaracha Kol Goyei Aharetz Ekev Asher Shamata Ve'koli Vayashev Avraham El Ne'arav Vayakumu Vayalchu Yachdav El Bershava Vayoshev Avraham Vibershava.
Yasher Koach.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Natan Lanu Torah Emet V'chayei Olam Nata B'tochenu Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Yasher Koach. And thank you, Gail, for your commitment to our community. Of course, Yasher Koach. And so, what a powerful passage in the Torah scroll. We're going to continue with our first Hagba and Galila, and I see our Ruach choir is getting into position. Thank you so much. I'd like to invite Danielle and Rina Elbaz to be our Hagba and Galila team this morning. You're invited to rise as the Torah is lifted.
The chair's right behind you.
Bezot HaTorah Asher Sam Moshe Lifnei Bnei Yisrael Al Pi Adonai Le'yad Moshe Mitzion Tetzeh Torah Udvar Adonai Mi'Yerushalayim Ki Mitzion Tetzeh Torah Udvar Adonai Mi'Yerushalayim Baruch Shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael. Baruch Shenatan Torah just another moment, I'd like to invite Patrick Elazar up to the Bima as our Maftir reader this morning. And you can be seated. Thank you so much. I'm very interested in the history of each of the scrolls that our congregation cares for. We happen to care for a lot of Torah scrolls that were scribed in Romania, if that's of interest to you. Actually, both of these scrolls were scribed around the 1920s in Romania and made their way to Winnipeg, Manitoba. Patrick, how are you doing this morning? He's good, he's good. Beautiful. So you may have discovered yesterday that our Maftir Aliyah is always our Haftorah reader. And so Bonnie Robinson, welcome to the Bima this morning. It's my honor to call you out. Patrick, you can find your first word. Tamon, Miriam bat Ephraim velvovetel, Maftira.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol hamim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
אמן. ובחודש השביעי, באחד לחודש, מקרא קודש, יהיה לכם כל מלאכת עבודה לא תעשו. יום תרועה יהיה לכם, ועשיתם עולה, וריח ניחוח לאדוני, פר בן בקר אחד, עין אחד, כבשים בני שנה, 7 תמימים, ומנחתם סולת בלולה בשמן, 3 עשרונים לפר, 2 עשרונים לעיל, ויסערון אחד לכבש אחד, ל7 הכבשים, ושעיר עזים אחד חטאת, לכפר עליכם, מלבד עולת החודש, ומנחתה, ועולת התמיד, ומנחתה, ונזכיהם כמשפטם, לריח ניחוח, אישה לארוני.
Asher Koach.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher Koach. Beautiful reading, Patrick. And Yasher Koach, Bonnie. Every time that we have needed a minute and some help with Torah reading this year, if I call Bonnie, Bonnie has come in and studied Torah for us and for our congregation. So thank you so much, Bonnie. I'd like to invite our next Hagba and Galila team to come up. We've got Lauren Weiss and Paulette Weiss. And it's wonderful to have you guys coming back up to the Bima. I have fond memories of Lauren's big lift. No pressure, no pressure. Absolutely. You're invited to rise.
I will.
And whenever you're ready, Lauren, take your time.
Baruch Shem Atan
Yasher Koach. You've still got it, Lawrence.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? It's such a pleasure to hear you.
Oh, thank you so much. Yasher Koach et Khaled. It's beautiful to have you both here this Yontif. You can be seated. And so we've almost arrived at our Haftorah, but of course, we're very blessed to have our Rabbi Alan Green here to guide us through and to contextualize our readings for us this morning.
Oh, yeah.
And so, in just a moment, Rabbi Green has an introduction for us all.
Thank you, Leslie. Today's Haftarah reading, taken from the... Okay? Okay. Today's Haftarah reading, taken from the prophet Jeremiah, is about the return of the Jewish people to the land of Israel some 25 centuries ago. In the year 586 BCE, the Babylonians conquered the kingdom of Judah, destroyed the first temple, and exiled its leading citizens to Babylon. And, like most exiled peoples, we were meant to disappear forever. However, through the efforts of leaders like Isaiah and Ezekiel and Jeremiah, we continue to remember who we were, where we came from, and where eventually we would return. And so the prophet Jeremiah, speaking for God, says, "Behold, I will bring them from the north country and gather them from the ends of the earth. Among them the blind and the lame, the woman with child and the woman in labor. With tears shall they come, and with consolation I will lead them back. I will lead them along streams of water on a smooth path on which they'll not stumble. For I am a father to the people of Israel. Ephraim is my firstborn." And so, after 50 years of exile, the words of Jeremiah were fulfilled, and the Jewish people returned to the land of Israel. Perhaps even more remarkably, 75 years ago, after a 19th century exile, once again, the Jewish people returned to the land of Israel. I like to think of all those centuries during which living as a free people in our own land was the most distant of all dreams. How must our ancestors have listened to this Haftarah? How must they have responded to Jeremiah's words of comfort when he says, "Keep your voice from weeping and your eyes from tears, for your work shall be rewarded. Your children shall return to their own land." And how should we respond, we who've been privileged to see these words fulfilled to the letter in our lifetimes? It's something to ponder as we turn to the Haftarah reading on page 101.
Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'mi'im tovim v'ratza b'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah uv'Moshe avdo uv'Yisrael amo uv'invi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek.
Amen.
Shim'u devar Adonai goyim v'hagidu va'im mimerchak v'imru Mizarei Yisrael yakabtzenu ushmaro kiro edro kifada Adonai et Yaakov ugalo miyad chazak mimenu uva uverinenu vimrom Tzion venaharu el tuv Adonai al Dagan ve'al Tirosh ve'al Yitzhar ve'al Bnei Tzon uvakar v'haita nafsham kegan raveh ve'lo yosifu leda'ava od az tismach betula b'machol uvachurim uzkenim yachdav ve'hafachti avlam l'sason v'nihi chamtim v'simachti migonam v'riveti nefesh hakohanim dashen ve'ami etuvi yispa'u ne'um Adonai ko amar Adonai Kol Brahma Nishma Nehi Bechi Tamrurim Rachel Mevaka Al Baneha Me'ana Lehinachem Al Baneha Kinenu Ko Amar Adonai Min kolech mi bechi ve'enayech mi dim'ah Ki yesh sachar lifulatech ne'um Adonai v'shavu me'eretz oyev v'yesh tikva le'acharitech ne'um Adonai v'shavu vanim ligvulam Shamoa shamati Ephraim itnoded Yisartani ve'aviser ke'egel olumad Hashiveni ve'ashuva ki ata Adonai Elohai ki acharei shuvi nichamti ve'acharei hivahadei safakti al yarech boshti ve'gam nichlamti Ki nasati cherpat neurai, havein yakir li Ephraim, im yeheled sha'ashuim, ki midei daberi bo, zachor ez kerenu od, al kein, hamu me'ai lo, rachem arachamenu ne'um Adonai, Hatzivi lach tziyunim, simi lach tamrurim, shihiti libech, lamesila derech halacht, shuvi betulat Yisrael, shuvi el arayich Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, tzur kol haolamim, Tzadik bechol adorot, ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer v'yoseh, ha'mdaber u'mkayem, shekol dvarav emet v'tzedek. Ne'eman, atahu Adonai Eloheinu, v'ne'emanim devarecha, v'davar echad midvarecha, achor lo yashuv rekam, ki el melech ne'eman v'rachaman ata, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el ha'ne'eman bechol dvarav. Rachem al Tzion ki hi beit chayenu, v'lalu vat nefesh, toshia bimheira v'yameinu, Baruch atah Adonai.
Baruch hu, Baruch Shemo.
Mesamech Tzion bevaneha.
Amen.
Samcheinu Adonai Eloheinu b'Eliyahu hanavi avdecha u'v'malchut Beit David Meshichecha b'mheira yavo v'yagel libeinu al kiso lo yeshev zar v'lo yinchalu od acherim et kvodo ki v'shem kodshecha nishbata lo shelo yichben ero leolam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai Magen David.
Amen.
Al HaTorah v'al Havodah v'al Hanaviim v'al Yom HaZikaron hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu lechavod ultifaret Al HaKol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach u'varchim otach Yitbarach Shimcha befi kol chai tamid leolam va'ed udvarcha emet v'kayam la'ad Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch hu, Baruch Shemo.
Melech al kol ha'aretz mekadesh Yisrael v'yom hazikaron
Amen. Yasher kochech. Beautifully chanted, Bonnie. We're going to prepare in a moment to return the scrolls to the ark, but first, of course, a prayer for healing. Thank you so much to our Ruach Choir. And so I'd like to invite everyone present, everyone online, If there's someone in your life in need of healing, if there's something in the world that's concerning you, you feel is in need of healing, put your kavanah in that direction, put your intention in that direction during the prayer. And let's join together in a Misha Berach prayer, a prayer for healing. Healed world around us soon. Thank you all so much. We're ready to return our scrolls to Aron HaKodesh. I'd like to invite Jason Tapper and Ira Ripstein to carry the scrolls to Aron HaKodesh. We have Harry Odwack and his son here to open the Aron HaKodesh for us, and I invite you all to rise as the ark is opened. Yehalelu et Shem Adonai, ki niskav Shemo levado. Page 109, Etz Chaim Hi. Uvenucha Yomar. Yasher kochachem, beautiful. You can be seated.
Time for Hineni. So we're about to get to the Musaf service now, the real heart of the service, introduced by the Hineni prayer. And it so happens that prayer in our modern world is somewhat problematic. In our very secular civilization, for many people, God, for all practical purposes, no longer exists. Now, it's always been the case that God is hidden. And how could it be otherwise? God is infinite and abstract, and the universe is the opposite. It's concrete and exists within boundaries of time and space and causation. So God would have to be at some considerable remove to avoid upsetting the natural order of things. But the problem these days isn't just that God is hidden, it's that God is hiding the fact that he's hidden. In the book of Deuteronomy it says, Haster astir panai, I will surely hide my face on that day because of all the evil they have done in turning to other gods. What gods might this verse be referring to? The God we worship these days is the God of technology, the God of scientific materialism, the God that tells us that anything worthwhile in life is measurable and quantifiable. But this is like knowing everything about the egg shell, but missing the other 99% of the egg. It's this other 99% where the God of our ancestors and prayer and religion can play an important role. Question is, how do we connect to the other 99% of the egg of existence? So listen to this guidance that comes from the Baal Shem Tov. He says, the Ark of Noah actually is the word of prayer. Make yourself a window for the Ark. In other words, let the words of prayer be a window through which you see to the ends of the earth. The window is the light in the ark, which is the word. Speak the word in such a way that the inner light shines through it. Make it with lower, second, and third decks. In other words, each letter contains worlds and souls and the presence of God. As the letters are joined to one another, all that is within them rises up to God. One who joins their soul to this process brings all the worlds together in boundless joy. So go into the ark, you and all your household. In other words, enter the word with all your body, with all your strength. Cantor Leslie will now proceed from the rear of our sanctuary. And as she does, please rise row by row as we prepare ourselves to pray with the Hineni prayer. On page 113. On page 114, the Chatzi Kaddish.
Yamlich malchutei Vidpar vitromam veignase veitadar vitale vitalal shmei de kudesha.
book is opened as we continue on page 115 with an out loud version of the Amidah.
Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch hu Shemo
Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Vekoneh HaKol Zocher Chasdei Avot V'imaot Umevi Goel Livnei V'neihem Leman Shemo Be'ahava Misod Chachamim Unevonim U'milemed Dat Mevinim Eftechafi B'tefila U'v'tachanunim Lechalot U'lechanen Pnei Melech Malachei HaMelachim V'Adonai Hadanim.
Zochreinu, Zochreinu, Lechayim, Melech Hafetz B'chayim, V'chayim, V'chayim, B'Sefer Chayim, V'Malcha Elohim Chayim, V'chayim, B'Sefer Chayim, V'Malcha Elohim Chayim.
Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch hu u'baruch Shemo
Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah Ata Gibor le'olam Adonai Mechayei metim ata Rav le'Hoshia לחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני.
ברוך הוא וברוך שמו.
מחיי המתים. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גדלך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש. לדור ודור, ושבחך אלוהינו, מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד, כי המלך אדון, כי המלך אדון, וקדוש לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גדלך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש. ברוך אתה Adonai.
Baruch hu baruch shemo.
Amen. Amen.
The ark is now closed. We remain standing as we continue silently, pages 118 through page 133. Once you've completed your prayer, you may be seated.
Our Amida will close with Oseh Shalom, and in a world so much in need of peace, let's all join together as a congregation, a community this morning with our Ruach choir and our quartet. Thank you all so much. We also have a prayer for Israel this morning, and I'd like to invite Ophir to come and help us in leading it this morning. Ophir Sperling.
אבינו שבשמיים, צור ישראל וגואלו. ברך את מדינת ישראל, ראשית צמיחת גאולתנו. הגן עליה בעברת חסדך, ופרוס עליה סוכת שלומך. ושלח אורך ועמיתך לראשיה, שריה ויועציה, ותקנם בעצה טובה מלפניך. חזק את ידי מגני ארץ קודשנו, והנחילם אלוהינו ישועה, ועטרת ניצחון תיאטרם, ונתת שלום בארץ, ושמחת עולם ליושביה. ואת אחינו, כל בית ישראל, קודנה, בכל ארצות פזוריהם, ותוליכם מעיראק וממיעוט לציון יראך, ולירושלים משכן שמך, הכתוב בתורת משה עבדך. אם יהיה נידחך בקצה השמיים, משם יקבצך, אדוני אלוהיך, ומשם ייקחך. והביאך אדוני אלוהיך אל הארץ, אשר ירשו אבותיך, וירשת, ויטבך, וירבך מאבותיך. ויחד לבבנו לאהבה וליראה את שמך, ולשמור את כל דברי תורתך, ושלח לנו מהרה, בן דוד משיח צדקך, לפדות מחכי יקט ישועתך. הופע בהדר גאון עוזך על כל יושבי תבל תבא אל ארצך, ויאמר כל אשר נשמה באפו, אדוני, אלוהי ישראל, מלך ומלכותו בכל משלה. אמן סלע.
Amen. Yasher koach. Thank you. I'm going to read a prayer for Israel in English as well. We ask your blessings, O God, for the state of Israel, for the land of Israel, and for the people of Israel. Bless those who defend the land and protect its people. Bless its leaders with wisdom, courage, and dedication. May they be resolute in the face of challenge and unwavering in the pursuit of justice and peace. May Israel be a beacon of hope for the oppressed, a source of inspiration to all who are free. Fulfill in our day the ancient promise. Zion shall be redeemed through justice, and its inhabitants through righteousness. Amen. And now I'd like to invite Emily Croft to bring greetings and remarks along with Dr. Rina Sector-Elbaz. You may have noticed Ophir is part of our young adult group as well as Emily Croft. And Rina had done amazing work as our education and adult education director for so long. And now she's our executive director, so we're in very good hands.
I just want to say a few quick words before Emily begins. Yesterday, we made an appeal and people filled in the cards, and I want to let you know that we went just a little bit past high, so $18,000. Okay, I think we have to double it. So new cards will be put on the seats for Yom Kippur, but I want to tell you, we got some very nice donations, $4,000 towards adult education, enhanced Kiddush $3,000, young adult programs $2,800, the B'nai Mitzvah program $2,300, events for young families $1,100, the Dor Chadash choirs $4,400, and we didn't get anything yet for a Shabbat dinner, so we need a few sponsors for that and for a few major events. We did get $360 for our Minyan League, and Cantor Leslie mentioned the Minyan League yesterday, and I would like to tell you a little bit about what that Minyan League is, because part of the reason that we made the high holiday services free is because we wanted people to come back. Above everything, we want you back, and we want you back for Minyan too. So our ritual committee, under the amazing chair of Harry Odwack and Howie Raber, have come up with this amazing concept. We are going to have 24 team captains. Each team will have 10 players. They will take one day a month, and that will fill all of our minions. So you may be contacted by a captain. You may want to be a captain yourself. There will be some flyers out about that at Yom Kippur with a QR code that you can scan. But we want to draw your attention to this incredible initiative. We are one of the few synagogues that offers 2 minyanim a day, every single day of the year. We have to be proud of that, but we have to repopulate it. And we give free breakfast, so it's really worth it. And I'm really proud to introduce Emily Croft. She is part of our young adult group, and she has been really dedicated. We have some of the young adults who've joined us today. They've been helping, they've been volunteering, and I'm going to let her say a few words, and I'm going to stop talking. Come on up. Thank you.
Hi everyone, Shanah Tovah. So I'm here to just say a few words for the young adults group. So the young adult group is something that we started pretty new. It's only about a year old. So this is our first high holiday season even having this group. And because of that, I was trying to think about what have my most meaningful and best high holidays with Zedek Synagogue look like, and what can we incorporate. And most of the best ones that I remember were something like this. We would show up in the Shacharit service, And I would slowly start to notice girls that I knew from school filtering in. So we would listen to the prayers for a while and then slowly make our way to the basement, where a lot of you will know there was a little makeup room on the way into the women's washroom. So we would congregate in there and talk and laugh and basically be completely disruptive, which we could get away with for about half an hour before a grown-up would come in and say, "Girls, you're being so loud. You have to go sit with your parents again." And that was when the real fun began, because we already knew all the prayers that we had learned at school, so we could compete about who knew more of the words to the prayers than the one next to you. And the reason I'm telling you that story is because what I realized is the most meaningful high holidays I've ever had with this shul had almost nothing to do with what was happening on the bima, and everything to do with who was next to me in the pews. So that's what the young adults group is all about. We're trying to bring back that feeling of community. So for the past year, we've had some amazing programs. We've done Shabbat dinners, Havdallah parties, we've been to football games together, and I think coming up on Sukkot, we're doing a movie night, if anyone's interested in that. And it's so important that we're all doing this and all getting involved, because if we're really serious about this project of building a new synagogue that should be open next year, we need to build more than just walls and a chapel and a wedding venue. We also have to build things like friendships and community and a sense of shared purpose. So if you want to help us out with that, and you are a young adult, we don't have a website or flyers or anything you can click on, because that is how strangers communicate. We communicate almost entirely on WhatsApp, because that is how people who are in community together feel comfortable calling and texting each other. So if you want to be involved, I'm going to be hanging around after the service. Just walk up to me and ask me to be added to our communications group. Also, if any of you in the room are already in this WhatsApp group, can you just stand up and wave really quick? Anyone who's waving right now, you can ask them too. Find them after. But I know some of you are tuned in online. So if you are online and you want to get involved in this project, just call the synagogue on any day of the week after high holidays, and just let whoever's on the other end of the line know that you want to be included, and we'll make sure you get included. If you're not a young adult and you want to help out with our community building anyway, there's something really simple you can do to help. When we all get up at the end of the service and we start gathering in the hall outside, find one person who you don't know and introduce yourself. Because if all of us do that today, then when we come back on Yom Kippur next week, our community will be a little bit stronger than it was when we sat down today. So, Shana Tovah.
Thank you, Emily. We're about to begin now with the Netana Tokef prayer. You can find it on page 135. And you know, the funny thing about this prayer is that it's meant to induce a state of anxiety. Not huge anxiety, but anxiety. Because the truth is, no one knows what fate awaits them in the coming 12 months. Who shall live and who shall die is always going to be a relevant question. And the not-so-hidden message in the Netana Tokef is this: since we don't know how long we have to live in this world, it's incumbent upon us to make the most of every day and every moment of every day. But the question is, how do we make the most of these moments? Here, there's a huge range of choice. These days, I would say the default position would seem to be enjoy as much as possible. And really, it's not such a terrible philosophy. But even in the world of enjoyment, there are so many different possibilities. The sheer range of choice in our modern situation can be very confusing. So if one wants clarity in this, as well as on so many other issues, why not turn to the wealth of wisdom stored up in Jewish tradition? I've always been impressed by a letter written by Rabbi Nassan of Breslov to his son during the High Holy Day season of 1830. And this is what he says. To my beloved son, Rabbi Yitzchak, may his light shine bright. I have this hour received your letter, and there's no time to reply to it as it deserves. May God strengthen your heart and waken you on the great and awesome day approaching in peace, that one day of the year that you may merit to be renewed from that time on. And don't let a day be lost without secluding yourself and thinking about the meaning of your life. Into every day, get as much of Torah and prayer and good deeds as you can, as much as you can steal from this passing shadow, this vanity of vanities, this vanishing cloud of life. Remember well that all our days are vanity, yet everyone, on whatever level they may stand, can attain to eternal life. There's no time for anything more. The words of your Father, who seeks your welfare and who prays on your behalf. So let us turn now to page 135 as the ark is open and we rise for the Natanatok of prayer.
Kedushat hayom ki hu nora vayom uvot yinaseh malchutecha mikol v'chesed kisecha v'teshev alav emet emet ki ata hu dayan u'mochiach v'yodei aved v'chotev v'chotem v'sofer u'moneh ותזכור כל הנשכחות, ותפתח את ספר הזיכרונות, ומעליו יקרא, וחותם יד כל אדם. Bechol shivto and avir zatifto lehetim letifkon letifkon bochai ותחתוך קצבה לכל בריותיך ותכתוב את
If you can join me in the English on page 137. On Rosh Hashanah is written, on Yom Kippur is sealed. How many will pass on? How many will be born? Who is to live? Who is to die? Who will die at his term of life? Who will not die at his term of life? Who will die by fire? Who by water? Who by the sword? Who by a wild beast? Who by famine? Who by drought? Who by violent storm? Who by plague? Who by strangling? Who by stoning? Who will be settled? Who must stray? Who will be tranquil? Who will be troubled? Who will be calm? Who overstressed? Who will be poor? Who will be rich? Who will fall? And who will rise? Rosh Hashanah.
ותשועה ותפילה וצדקה מעריננו הגזרה.
But repentance, prayer, and charity ward off the evil of the sentence. The ark is closed, and we may be seated. We've now arrived to that portion of the Musaf, which is called Malchuyot, Zichronot, and Shofrot. Yesterday we spoke about the Malchuyot, the kingship portion of the Rosh Hashanah Musaf, and today I want to focus briefly on Shofrot, the shofar section. What is the shofar? It's a radically simple instrument, a hollowed-out ram's horn. Makes a sound unlike anything one commonly hears in the modern world. And this is probably the most important point. The sound of the shofar comes from a very different place than the one in which we usually live. What does the shofar sound like? To borrow a phrase from Van Morrison, the shofar sounds like the inarticulate cry of the heart. It's the sound of the deepest depths of human yearning, the yearning for love, for truth, for compassion, for justice, and for a peaceful, harmonious world. And this is the reality towards which the Shofrot section of the Musaf points. There's a beautiful teaching taken from today's Torah reading about the ram caught in the thicket, the actual sacrifice on the altar seemingly intended for Isaac. The rabbis tell us that one horn of that ram became the shofar that was blown at Mount Sinai, at that critical moment when the whole of Jewish destiny and the destiny of the world shifted. That was the shofar of Revelation, when the entire Jewish people literally saw the voice of God as he revealed his presence and his Torah to the Jewish people, and through us, to all of humanity. And the other horn? That horn will become the shofar blown to announce the coming of the Messiah, Yemot HaMashiach, the messianic era of peace on earth and goodwill among humankind. The important concept here is that one thing isn't likely to happen without the other. In other words, peace on earth won't come without some kind of divine revelation. And divine revelation won't come without there being peace on earth. And both of these will come only as a result of the deepest yearning of the human heart, the inarticulate cry embodied in the sound of the shofar. So let's turn now to page 140. The ark is opened, and we rise for a special High Holy Day version of the Aleinu.
Aleinu Leshabeya. Ladonakol Latet Gedula Leyotzer Breshit. Shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot. Velo samanu kemishpechot hadama. Shelo sam chelkeinu kahem v'goraleinu kechohamonam v'anachnu korim. ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
The ark is closed. The ark is closed, and we may be seated. Cantor Leslie continues from page 140 at the bottom.
Eloheinu v'Eloi avotenu v'imotenu, kadshenu b'mitzvotecha, v'ten chelkeinu v'toratecha, sabeinu mituvecha, v'samechenu b'shuvatecha, v'taher libeinu lavdecha be'emet, כי אתה אלוהים אמת, וברך אמת וקיים נעד. ברוך אתה אדוני.
ברוך הוא וברוך שמו.
מלך על כל הארץ, מקדש ישראל ויום הזיכרון.
We're going to continue now on page 145 with what I like to call the Jewish Hallelujah Chorus. Hallelujah. Hallelujah on page 145.
That prayer describes what prayer was like in the temple. And prayer in the temple, from some accounts, had more than 200 instruments. And I feel like I heard them with how you sang that piece. That piece was written by a cantor named Cantor Lewandowski. And he had a synagogue. There was a Reformed congregation in Berlin. It was one of the first congregations to have an organ in the shul. And it was one of the only shuls still standing after Kristallnacht. And so the history of his music, you'll hear Lewandowski woven throughout many services and many shuls. His music lives on in our liturgy. Yasher koach.
Yes, indeed.
Continuing from halfway down the page, page 145. כי אתה שומע קול שופר ומאזין תרועה, ואין דומה לך. ברוך אתה אדוני. שומע כל תרועת עמו ישראל ברחמים.
We rise for the blowing of the shofar at the bottom of page 145. Kiyam Shvarim Truah Tkiyam Tkiyam Shvarim Tkiyam Tkiyam Teruah Tkiya Gedolah
Yasher
Please be seated. We continue with Hayom Harat Olam on page 146.
Yasher Koach, Eric. Hayom Harat Olam, Hayom Yamid Bamishpat, Ko Yetzurei Olamim, Im Kevanim, Im Kavanim, Im Kevanim, Rachamei כרחם אבנים, ואם כבדים עינינו לך תלויות, עד שתחננו ותוציא כאור משפטנו היום קדוש. עד שתחננו ותוציא כאור משפטנו היום קדוש.
Areshet Svatenu. Beautiful, beautiful. Let's continue on page 147 now with Ritzeh.
רצה אדוני אלוהינו בעמך ישראל ובתפילתם, והשב את עבודה לדביר ביתך ואישי ישראל ותפילתם, באהבה תקבל ברצון ותהי לרצון תמיד עבודת ישראל עמך, ותחזינה עינינו בשובך v'tzion berachamim. Baruch atah Adonai.
Baruch hu Baruch Shemo.
Hamachazir Shechinato leTzion.
Amen.
Modim anachnu lach. Shata Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu Avotenu. Page 148. Hatov ki lo chalu rachamecha v'hamerachem ki lo tamu chasadecha me'olam kivinu lach v'hakulam yitbarach v'yitromam shimcha malkeinu tamid le'olam v'ed avinu malkeinu zechor rachamecha u'chevosh kascha v'chaleh dever v'cherev ורעב ושביעו משחית והבון ושמד ומגפה ופגרה וכל מחלה וכל תקלה וכל קטטה וכל מיני פורעניות וכל גזר רעה ושנאת חינם מעלינו מעל כל בני בריתך וכתוב לחיים טובים כל בני בריתך. And write down for a good life all the children of those with whom you made your agreement. וכל החיים יודוך סלע ויעללו את שמך באמת, האל ישועתנו ועזרתנו סלע, ברוך אתה אדוני.
Baruch hu Baruch Shemo.
הטוב שמך הולך נאה להודות. אלוהינו ולאבותינו ואמותינו, ברכנו בברכה המשולשת בתורה הכתובה על ידי משה עבדך, האמורה מפי אהרון ובניו, כהנים עם קדושך. We have arrived at the Birkat HaKohanim, halfway through the page on page 149. And this is a beautiful opportunity to bless one another. So if you're here with someone special to you, you can wrap arms around each other, talesim. If your people aren't here, hold them in your heart while you daven. I'm thinking of my children while we daven this prayer, and my nephew and my people. So let's join together, Birkat HaKohanim. May Adonai bless you and protect you. May Adonai smile at you and show you favor. May Adonai let you perceive God's presence and set you at peace.
Amen.
With peace in our hearts, I invite you to sing with our fabulous Ruach choir and our quartet, Sim Shalom, the bottom of page 149. Sim Shalom, Tovah u'bracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Alecha Barchenu Avinu be'or panecha. Sim shalom, Tovah u'bracha. Chema chesed v'rachamim aleinu la'kol Yisrael. Amecha, Amecha. Ki be'or panecha natata lanu Adonai Eloheinu. Torah chayim ve'ahavat chesed ve'ahavat chesed u'tzedaka u'bracha ve'rachamim v'chayim v'shalom. Sim shalom, Tovah u'bracha, chel v'chesed ve'rachamim aleinu la'kol Yisrael. Amecha, Amecha. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael. V'kol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שים שלום, טובה וברכה, חן וחסד ורחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל. עמך, Shalom. Yasher kochachem. Thank you so much. And now we have Rabbi Green all the way back to Winnipeg. And we're very grateful to have him here to give us a teaching this morning.
I'm grateful to be here. What an uplifting service, huh? I think there are angels present here of both the human and non-human variety. So once again, of course, it's the Jewish New Year, the year being 5784, the year in which 2 days ago I turned 70.
Mazel tov.
Made it in one piece.
2 days ago, Rabbi Green?
That's correct.
I think
yes.
it's not too late for us to sing Yom Huledet Sameach.
Oh, no.
Yom Huledet Sameach, Yom Huledet Sameach, Yom Huledet Sameach, Yom Huledet Sameach, and many more.
Thank you. Now to bring you down a bit. It's true that the older one gets, the body ages, and perhaps the more matter-of-fact life becomes, and perhaps also the fewer stories one tells. For me, a young person is someone who tells stories, and an old person is someone who stopped telling stories a long time ago. More than 2 centuries ago, Rabbi Nachman of Breslov said, "When you dream in stories." And Rabbi Yisrael of Ruzhin taught, our Torah, the heart and soul of the Jewish people, consists only of stories. Because, Rabbi Yisrael continues, God in heaven the master of creation, is the greatest storyteller of them all. So I wanted to dedicate my time on these High Holy Days to two of the most compelling stories I've ever heard. One of them I'll be telling today, and the other on Yom Kippur. I heard both of them directly from Rabbi Shlomo Carlebach. And the story I'm about to tell is a true story, and a truly amazing one. And the Yom Kippur story, I would say, all the more so. In fact, it's the sequel, projected 4 centuries into the future, of the story I'm about to tell today. Of course, you'll have to come back on Yom Kippur to derive the full benefit. So, what's the most godlike act in which we human beings can engage? When someone has the privilege of giving, whether they realize it or not, at that moment, they're so close to God. But in the cemetery, in the city of Krakow in Poland, and you can see it even to this day, a place so awesome, so sad, and yet so full of life. Under a tree just outside the cemetery, there's a headstone, and written on it are the words, Po nitman Yosele kamsan kadosh. Here lies Yosele, the holy miser. What an inscription. Here lies Yosele, the holy miser. But how could that be? And herein lies a story. It was 1550. The Jews of Poland were so persecuted and so poor. In Krakow, they lived in a ghetto, but there was one wealthy Jew, and his name was Yosele, and quite possibly, he was the greatest miser in the world. His whole life, he never gave 1 penny to one Jew, and really, he must have had a heart of stone, because a miser isn't really part of the world. In the world God created, if you're not giving, you're not really part of society. Because who would say good Shabbos to him? Who would wish him a good New Year? In fact, when Yosele walked the streets of the ghetto, children threw rocks at him and people called him names. One day, word reached the Chevra Kadisha, the burial society, that Yosele was dying. They rushed to his bedside and said, Yosele, you never gave a single penny to the poor. This is your last chance. Donate 1,000 rubles for your grave, and we'll distribute it to the needy. But Yosele, remember, had a heart of stone. He replied, I can't afford more than 50 rubles. So they told him, Yosele, you can't take the money with you anyway. But Yosele was adamant, no, I'm not giving more than 50. And then they got angry. Okay, Yosele, in that case, we're not going to bury you. But Yosele just smiled and said, then I'll bury myself. I've done a lot of things by myself. Again, the Chevra Kadisha said, Yosele, if you don't give 1,000 rubles, we won't bury you. And as they got up to leave, at that very moment was Yosele's end. He said the Shema Yisrael, declaring that God is one. But it was so ugly because the Chevra Kadisha thought he's probably thinking of all the money he just saved. The burial society walked out and they kept their word. Yosele died Sunday night. They didn't bury him Monday, and they didn't bury him Tuesday, and they didn't bury him all day Wednesday. Wednesday night, one of his neighbors decided he couldn't let him lie there any longer. And so, after midnight, so as not to be noticed, he single-handedly threw Yosele on a wagon, drove out to the cemetery, and buried him under a tree just outside the fence. So, you think that's the end of the story? It's not the end of the story. At the time of Yosele, the chief rabbi of Krakow was one of the great Kabbalists of his generation, and his name was Reb Kalman. Late Thursday night, a poor man knocked on his door asking for money so that he might properly honor the Shabbat. Reb Kalman replied, I'd be so happy to give you some money, but why today? I've known you for so long, and you've never asked me before. The poor man said, Reb Kalman, I want you to know, for 20 years I haven't had a job. I can't make a living. But every Thursday morning, under my broken door, under my broken heart, my broken life, there's an envelope with 5 rubles. And on the envelope it says, the Koved Shabbos, in honor of Shabbos. But not today, not today. 2 minutes later, another knock on the door, a poor man once again asking for money to properly celebrate Shabbat. Ha! And where were you last week? The poor man replied, for the last 10 years, every Thursday morning, under my broken door, there's an envelope with 2 rubles. All that night, the poor people came, and everyone told the same story. In one envelope was 5 rubles, and another was 2 rubles, and another was 10 rubles, all the Koved Shabbos. As the realization began to dawn, Reb Kalman was so broken. Reb Kalman was so broken. My friends, he said, we threw rocks at him. We called him names. We didn't even bury him. But I don't understand. How did Yosela know you so well? To one he gave 2 rubles, to another he gave 5, to another he gave 10. And this is what they told him. Every poor Jew in Krakow thought once in his life, maybe, just maybe, I'll get through to Yosela. So every one of the poor people at one time or another would knock on Yosela's door. And Yosela, the holy miser, would open the door with so much love and sweetness. They would open their hearts to him. He would invite them inside and ask them to tell him everything. He would take pen and paper and say, Reb Yid, what's your name? And the poor man might answer, my name is Avremela. And what do you do, Avremela? I'm a water carrier. What street do you live on? How many children do you have? I have 10 children. Oy, Avremela, my heart is breaking for you. Your children must be starving. How much do you need every week to live? And Avremela would say, Yosela, if you could only find it in your heart to give me 5 rubles every week to keep my children alive. And Yosela would bring him some wine and some cake and talk about everything in the world. And then suddenly Yosela would get crazy. Yosela was a very strong person. He would pick up Avremela by the collar and throw him down the front steps. Don't you ever dare come back. Do you really think I'm crazy? Do you think that I, Yosela, would give you my precious money? Get away from here. Avremela would go home and tell his wife, he really is crazy. But Thursday morning, there was an envelope under Avremela the water carrier's door, and written on it were the words, the Koved Shabbos, in honor of Shabbos. Reb Kalman was beside himself. Breaking into tears, he said, Yosela supported us all. We didn't bury him. Your children, whom he kept alive, threw rocks at him. So, that Shabbat morning, Reb Kalman announced, tomorrow will be a fast day. Everyone has to be here to ask Yosela for forgiveness. The whole community came, and all day Sunday, they cried out to heaven, Yosela, the holy miser, forgive me. Yosela, bless me. It was already close to sunset, and Reb Kalman announced, I have a feeling we didn't reach him yet. So Reb Kalman opened up the Holy Ark, and he yelled out from the very depths of his heart, Yosela, Yosela, holy miser, please give me a sign that you forgive us. At that very moment, Reb Kalman fell to the floor, and the people thought, God forbid, he'd had a heart attack. But it turned out he was just sleeping. And in his dream, he had a vision. He saw Yosela, but not the way he appeared when he was alive on earth, but the way he was shining in heaven. And Yosela said to him, Reb Kalman, please tell all my brothers and sisters to go home. There's no need for them to ask for forgiveness. I wanted it this way. I wanted to have the privilege of giving without anyone knowing except the one who knows everything. I wanted him to know. Please tell the people, I thank everyone who ever came to my house. Thanks so much for pouring out your hearts to me. Please tell them I'm here in paradise, sitting next to Father Abraham and Mother Sarah. I have everything, but there's just one thing I need. There's just one thing I'm missing. I would give up all of paradise for just one more Thursday morning, because there are no poor people in heaven. There are no broken hearts or broken doors in heaven. And there are no envelopes, Lekovit Shabbos, in heaven. Tell the people I miss them. Reb Kalman said, but Yosele, how did it feel to be buried all by yourself? Yosele smiled and said, Reb Kalman, believe me, I wasn't alone. Avraham Avinu, Yitzchak Avinu, Yaakov Avinu, the three patriarchs, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, the four holy mothers, Moshe, Aaron, Yosef, David, they were all there. King David walked behind me singing a psalm, and Eliyahu Hanavi, Elijah the prophet, led the procession, holding a candle, lighting the way before us. And maybe, just maybe, this is part of the reason why the old cemetery in Krakow, even after 4 centuries, is such a heavenly place, so awesome, so sad, and yet even today, so full of life. As I said before, it's not the end of the story. Come back Yom Kippur to hear the rest. You will not regret it. I wish everyone Shanah, Tovah, and Metuka, a good, sweet, healthy, happy new year of fulfillment and peace for Israel and peace for all mankind everywhere. Shalom.
Yasher Koach, Rabbi Green. What a moving and beautiful story, and an inspiring one as well. We're going to continue with the service at this time. Page 150, Hayom. And maybe before we do the Hebrew, let's join together in the English, the bottom paragraph on the page. Today, strengthen us. Today, bless us. Today, make us grow. Today, seek us out for good. Today, write down our names for a good life. Today, hear our cry. Today, accept with kindness and favor our prayer. Today, sustain us with your righteous power. Please rise.
ark is closed. The ark is closed. We may be seated. And we need Rabbi Mas to come to the bima.
Welcome back, Rabbi Anibal. Shana Tovah. Another lively morning, I guess. We had such a fabulous team with our family service this year. It was really an inspired service. We're going to continue with the Hasidic Kaddish Shalem on page 151. Rabbi, how was your morning?
Just like that. Whew. I'm pumped. Hasidic Kaddish Shalem, everyone. Let's do it.
Yitkada veyitkada shemei Rabba.
Amen.
Ve'alma divrei hirutei ve'yamlich malchutei. V'chayechon u'beyom echon u'v'chayei dekol beit Yisrael. Va'agana u'bizman karim. Vehimeru.
Amen. Yehei shemei Rabba le'olam. Le'olam u'lamei olmaya. Yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitba'ar ve'yitromach ve'yitnaseh ve'yitfadar ve'yitaleh ve'yitzalal Shemeh dekudesha
Tushbechata v'nechamata Da'amiran be'ama Da'amiran be'ama Vehimeru
תתקבל צלותיהון ובאותיהון לכל בית ישראל קודם אבון דיבי שמיה וימרו אמן אמן
שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו עלינו ולכו ישראל וימרו וימרו
אמן עושה שלום במרומה הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל וימרו אמן
Yasher Koach. I don't know about you, but that melody sounds like the High Holy Days to me, you know? Years of the choir singing it so beautifully. And speaking of choirs, the Ruach Choir, I'd love to invite you all back up onto the bima with us. And thank you so very much for all of your contributions to our services this year. We're very grateful to have your voices in our service. We're going to continue with Aleinu, page 153. And you're invited to rise as the ark is opened. Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצון, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, והיה אדוני
למלך על כל הארץ.
ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
The ark is closed, but I would like to invite everyone to remain standing as we are going to continue now with the recitation of the Mourner's Kaddish on page 156. But first, we are going to read the Yortzeit names.
And I, for the first time all morning, am missing one piece of paper. Here we are. Thank you. On the 2nd of Tishrei, we observe the Yertzites of Benjamin Dubnikov, Binyamin, Blima Eliash, Clive Leslie Finkelstein, Chaim Leib ben Mendel, Percy Genser, Peretz ben Moshe, Elsie Gilfix, Elka bat Moshe v'Devora, Dorothy Gutkin, Devora bat Meyer, Fred Kravetsky, Ephraim ben Betzalel Leib, Mrs. Shanah bat Zalman Lifshitz, Joseph Rosenberg, Riva Rosenberg, Gwirt Siegal, Baruch ben Yaakov Yisrael v'Chana, Nelly Scheif, Nechama bat Lazar v'Esther, Rose Smith, Rachel bat Tzvi Hirsch, Etta Stein, Yidka bat Yosef, Joseph Walk, and Yosef ben Chaim, all of blessed memory.
Please join me in the recitation of the words of comfort, the words of the Mourner's Kaddish, page 156. Yitgadal ve'yitgadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma diberach hiluteh, ve'yamlich malchuteh, ve'chayekon u'v'yomechon, ve'chaye dechor beit Israel, ba'gala u'vizman kariv ve'imru amen. Yeheh shemer Rabbah mevorach le'alam u'le'olmei olmaya. Yitbarach ve'yishtavach ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitromam ve'yitnaseh. Ve'yitadar ve'yitaleh ve'yitalal shemei dekudesha brihu. Leila leila mikol birchata ve'shirata. Tushvechata ve'nechemata. Da'amiram be'alma v'imeru amen. Yeheh shlama Rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom imrumav, u'yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. You may be seated as we are ready to wrap up our service. So it's great to see you all again here for the second day of Rosh Hashanah. Such an special moment to be able to celebrate together, and you sound awesome.
Thank you so much. There are so many people to thank. I'd like to thank our board of directors for their guidance this year. I'd like to thank our board president, Neil Duboff, and our vice president, Fanny Levy. I'd like to thank everybody who contributed to the service this morning, Gustavo Zentner for reading Torah, Bonnie Robinson. I'd like to thank everybody who volunteered this morning, all of our ushers, Keith on the sound, Marvin on the streaming and the sound, each and every one of our staff members, especially Robert Didich. He worked many a late night making sure that we were ready for this morning and for yesterday as well. So gratitude. On your way out the door, I ask if you can bring your machzorim out with you, but also if you walk past a volunteer or a staff member, take a moment to say thank you on your way out. Thank you, Rabbi Anibal, for recreating the family service and bringing it back with such intention. And Leon Pinkovich, thank you so much. Rabbi Green, happy birthday. And let's join together with this beautiful Ruach choir, who I'm so very grateful for, as well as our quartet and their guidance and their leadership musically this year. We couldn't have done this so beautifully without you all, so thank you very much. John and Stephen, Ruach choir, quartet, Adon Olam. Everybody, add your voices. Let's hear you sing. Let's sing
Now,
together.
add your voices, or what I would say in the family service. Add your body. Feel free to stand, feel free to clap, feel free to move. Hey, you have lots of space here. We were cramped in the theater. You have lots of space, so feel free to move everywhere you want to celebrate, because Rosh Hashanah, as we mentioned yesterday, is a time to celebrate. So let's celebrate this beautiful moment together with Adon Olam. Let's rock and roll.
Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'Terem Kol Nidre, Lech Nasa B'Ketzel Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'Terem Kol Nidre, Lech Nasa B'Ketzel Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra.
Come on!
Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'Terem Kol Nidre, Lech Nasa B'Ketzel Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra. Ve'en sheni, lehamshilo, lehachbira, li reshit, ve'li tachlit, ve'lo ha'oz ve'hamitzrayim. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'Terem Kol Yitzir Nivra, Lech Nasa B'Ketzel Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'Terem Kol Yitzir Nivra, Lech Nasa B'Ketzel Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra. Beyado afiruchi, Betishan me'ahira, Ve'imruchi geviati Adonai li lelo ira. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'Terem Kol Yitzir Nivra, Lech Nasa B'Ketzel Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'Terem Kol Yitzir Nivra, Lech Nasa B'Ketzel Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra.
And please, before you go, a couple of things. Number one, I want to give you my benediction. And number two, immediately after, please stay for Tashlich. We are going to go to the river to get rid of our transgressions and feed the fish with our transgressions. So don't eat those fish. Otherwise, I will come back to you.
Thank you so very much for joining us this High Holy Days.
But I said, to convince you to stay, I want to say only two words: ice cream.
Oh yeah, there is ice cream, absolutely. Thank you so much. You're welcome to stay for Tashlich, but first, before you go,
This
Rabbi,
is the benediction.
Your benediction.
Adonai, we thank you for everything you have done for us. And we thank you in advance for everything that will do for us in the new year. We lift up our hearts to you right now, knowing that you love each one of us and that you haven't forgotten your promise to bless your people Israel. We recognize your greatness in our lives. We recognize your mercy and your goodness. We thank you that you didn't bring us through another year to leave us alone. We know that the rest of our lives will be the best of our lives. Fill our hearts with strength, hope, and encouragement. As we start this new year, 5784, we recognize that you are our Avinu Malkeinu, our Father, our ruler. Bless us so we can make decisions that honor you. So, like Abraham and Sarah, we can partner with you to bring more blessings to this world. We just need your blessing. Yevarechecha Adonai veishmerecha, may God bless you and protect you. Yair Adonai panav elecha vichuneka, may God smile at you and show you favor. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom, may God let you perceive God's presence and set you at peace. Shana Tovah umetuka, Gemar Chatima Tovah. Thank you for coming.